Will fitting 15-year newer wiper blade technology improve your Aston Martin DB9 or Vantage? Let's find out. In this episode of Aston1936.com, I'm going to show you some wiper blade options. What got me wondering about this was the car's 15 years old now, and is there new wiper blade technology that's come out to maybe improve on the original design? If you look at the original wiper blade, and I have one here, essentially it's a sort of a classic truss structure that has the framework and a whole bunch of things. This thing is a full 2 feet wide, so it has to get the pressure distributed somehow. And Aston did the best they could back in 2005. This is a winglet that's attached to the front of the blade. And you can see it here on the car. Basically, the air that comes rushing up over the hood can start to lift the wiper blade at speed. So the winglet holds it down at speed, which is a nice feature. And I didn't want to give that up on any sort of replacement blade that I installed. So I want the winglet, but I'm not really fond of this huge structure. That's almost 2 full inches high, and it sits up pretty high on the windscreen. And what I'm thinking is that a lot of the air that's rushing across this is causing wind noise when I'm driving along, even at 30 or 40 miles an hour. It's all tumbling through the structures here. So that kind of bothers me. Plus, I wanted to show you the view from the inside of the car because it pretty much makes the wiper blade prominent. The view from inside the car shows a lot of wiper blade. So essentially this is the driving position view, and right down in here you can see all the exposed structure of the wiper blade steel truss system that holds it together. And just because of the way the windshield slopes back, you see all of it right down to the rubber blade, and it's constantly in your view. You can also see that it's above the roof, the hood line. So it's got to be making some wind noise. That's what really got me wondering, well, I wonder if there's a newer wiper blade I could put on that was lower profile, looked a little better, and maybe it's a little quieter while driving. So what are our options for alternate wiper blades? Certainly we can buy the original OEM blade, and you can get this from your local Aston Martin dealer or online for about $37 a blade. Not particularly cheap, but not $1 million either for something you only have to replace every 4 or 5 years. But I wanted to find an alternative, and so when I took this blade apart in another video, basically I just found out that this was made by Trico. Obviously Aston Martin isn't in the wiper blade manufacturing business. They contracted with a big company, and I contacted Trico and asked them, well, can you sell me this blade? Even if I just have to dismount the winglet, and the winglet's removable, there's just 2 little screws underneath here and then 2 slotted tabs. So I thought, hey, if Trico could sell me the blade, all I'd have to do is switch the winglet over. So I contacted their customer service. They told me to pick up this Trico Exact Fit model 24-1, and I ordered one off Amazon for about $12 US, so 1/3 the price of the factory one. When I got it though, I was disappointed. Absolutely, it's a fit, it's the right length. It's another sort of this truss structure style blade. But it does not have the necessary tabs or slots to carry the winglet. And I wasn't interested in giving up on the aerodynamic wing and still having all the ugly look. So you could do this if you were on a budget. I'm sure there's even cheaper wiper blades of this structure. But I kept looking. And what I discovered was that the top of the line Bosch system is a really nice alternative. Essentially, this blade is a beam style, and I'm going to bust it out here so you can have a look at it. So this blade, as you can see, is really thin. by comparison. Which is awesome. That's one of the things I was really looking for. I mean, look at that. And this uses a new style technology, right? There's essentially a flexible metal beam, and this is called a beam style blade, to put the pressure down at the tips of the 24-inch. It actually works way better for doing that than the original blade. Plus, what I really was after, this has an aerodynamic lip on it. So this blade's a lot lower to the windshield, won't need the blade probably, but even Bosch has built in an aerodynamic lip in the profile, and that will replace the need for having the big winglet. So that was terrific. I was excited to order a set, and what's nice about this, you could go over to the Bosch website. I put in 2005 Aston Martin DB9, and it told me I needed a 24A for the driver's side, and I needed a 20B for the passenger side. Also good news, these are 24 bucks each off of Amazon.com. So it's kind of right in the middle on the pricing scheme. So the original factory blade was 37 bucks. The Trico sort of generic aftermarket blade is 12 bucks. And right in the middle is what I'm considering the winner, would be the Bosch Icon blade. So that's the one I chose, got a set, and let's take them back over to the car. All right, well, let's get these things fitted to the car. And the fitting technique is exactly the same that I've shown you in a previous video that'll be popping up somewhere up here. It'll also be linked at the end. But while we're fitting it, I want you to remind you that two things. On the driver's side, you have to be careful that when you're lifting this arm up, it doesn't come up more than that inch or two. Put something, and I suggest wrapping this with masking tape so that the wiper blade metal doesn't bang into your paint and chip it. The other thing is, once you're ready to do that, I put a stiff piece of cardboard or something underneath a folded microfiber, because once you've got the blade off, and if you were to let this blade fall, that would be like a metal bar just whacking your glass, and you could probably crack your glass. So anyways, put something to absorb a shock underneath it before you start working on it, and tape this up. Well, let's see how it turned out. So there's the new blades installed. And as you can see, they sit much tighter to the windshield. Very close fit, and a lower profile overall. So I'm hoping that will generate less wind noise, and honestly, they look nicer. And for comparison, let me bring in the original blade here and sit it up right alongside of it. So what we see here is that the bottom edge of the winglet on the old blade is actually at the top of the new blade. That's how much lower the new blade sits on the windshield. That's 3/4 of an inch. All this upper mass is gone now. And when you really, if you look at the side of the old blade, this whole matrix structure to get down to the rubber is gone, where the beam blade just has a metal band that creates the pressure. Most of this height is just the actual winglet. The blade is way down there. So we lose all this upper structure that's up there in the wind whistling, making noise, and viewable from the driver's seat. So let's go check out what the new blade looks like from the inside of the car. Now we're inside the car, and essentially you see a lot less profile of wiper blade. If I bring the camera in closer, you certainly still see the beam, because the windshield glass is always going to be visible, but there's just less of the blade structure showing. And when you're back at your driving position, there's less of a distraction. So I think it looks better, and hopefully it sounds better at road speed. But that's what 15-year newer wiper blade technology will do for you. And just like that, we've improved the looks of the car and probably reduced the noise level from the car. And I expect that the actual wiper rubber blade itself is going to work better. So I'd highly recommend this as a $47 total upgrade the next time your wiper blades need replaced on your Aston Martin. Check out my companion blog article down here. It'll have links to the parts and the prices and to the how to install it video. Speaking of that video, it's probably going to be linked right up here. And if you'd like to receive tips and tricks like this, please go ahead and subscribe over here. And as always, I'd love to hear your comments. Please leave those down below. Thanks for watching.